Here's a quick demonstration on how I tie my geodes to look like this. Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I tie up my geodes. I'm doing this one on fabric. This is a yard of bamboo velour, but you can also use this for shirts, dresses, any kind of fabric that you want. So I'm using artificial sinew and a PVC pipe. You can get artificial sinew from Amazon or Dharma Trading. I got this one from Amazon simply because Dharma was out of stock when I needed it. Just make sure you check the reviews and make sure that people say it's good for tie-dye. I use the PVC pipe as a way to pull on the artificial sinew without hurting my hands. So first, I just kind of gather some fabric in a way that's messy. I try to grab 2 points and bring them together. It tends to make more interesting results than just grabbing 1 point and then wrapping the thread around the base of that. So that's how I like to do it. It's a little tricky getting that first tie around because the fabric just wants to go all over the place. So I typically will wrap around 4 times, and you can see that I'm trying to do that carefully. I wrap 4 times and then I use the PVC pipe to pull it really tight. When you're pulling it, you're going to notice after a certain amount of tension, you're going to feel a couple subtle pops, and that means that the waxed thread is locking down on itself, and you should stop pulling at that point. If you pull much harder, you could possibly snap it, so the sinew breaks. And I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just at the end of the thread, there's the popping that you might not have noticed. But anyway, when it breaks, it gets buried down in the tie, and then later on when you're trying to unwrap it, it's really annoying trying to dig out the end of the thread. So just try to be aware that you don't have to pull it so hard that it breaks. And you'll learn the difference after you practice it a couple times. So I'm wrapping it like 3 more times on that tie just because that's the thickest part, and I really want to make sure that that tie ends up being a white crisp line after it's dyed. So I'm moving up to the next spot. I'm probably going to wrap that 4 or 5 times and then do the same thing, wrapping it around the PVC pipe about 3 times. Makes it so that the sinew doesn't slip off of the pipe. So all I have to do is pull on the pipe and pull on the fabric, and there's never any tension on my hands from the actual sinew. Sinew is being pulled by the pipe. And yeah, some people I have heard use tape on their fingers and then they pull the sinew with their fingers, but I feel like that's gonna wear out your hands really quick, so I wouldn't suggest that. A lot of people ask me when I do my soda ash soak, because some people like to soak the fabric or the shirt before they tie it, but I really don't like to be in contact with the soda ash, so I like to keep that to a bare minimum. So I tie up my things dry, like this has just been pre-washed and dried. So after I get it tied up, then I'll soak it in the soda ash bucket, and then after it's soaked for 30 minutes or so, I will spin it out in the washing machine so that it's damp. One mistake that I made early on was trying to make these ties too close together. It seems like it would be awesome. Some people can successfully put the ties closer together and still have awesome looking geodes, but for me, I have difficulty getting the fabric to saturate completely through, and then I'll have blotches of white areas if I have the ties too close. So mine are about an inch apart at least. It's still going to look very interesting and cool with the spaces being larger.